guys, welcome back. Here to talk a little Gatlinburg trip. I didn't get to go, but Heather did. I got to stay home with my doggy daughter, and I think it made my wife super jealous.
Yeah.
Because we got a father-daughter time. So
yes. Always miss my dog when I'm gone.
So, before Heather breaks into Gatlinburg, I'll tell you what I did this week. Nothing. I kind of sat here. Our work gave us some steaks a while back, so I cooked up, me and the dog, a couple of steaks, and we had a steak on Tuesday night. So, steak and french fries. I think she enjoyed it, and took her on some walks, like I said, car rides. Like I said, me and her spent some time together. We got a sweet little puppy, so, hey, come here. So if she'll come up here, I'll show you, but I doubt she will. She's giving me a look. But that was my days while Heather was in Gatlinburg. Heather, what did you do your 4 days?
Nothing.
You liar.
Yeah, I'm lying. So we had like a really quick 4-day getaway to Gatlinburg. Went with my mom and my sister and my cousin and my aunt and
your niece.
And my niece. And my niece. Gatlinburg is 3 hours from us, so it is really truly just a quick drive down there. We started on a Monday, and we didn't get there until about it was around like 2, I think. So checked into the hotel. Did not stay in luxury. Went from staying at Grand Floridian.
She was looking for the monorail. And
there was no monorail. Went from staying at the Grand Floridian to the Comfort Inn and Suites. And nothing bad about Comfort Inn and Suites. It did have a funny smell when we walked in there.
Did you find the Comfort Inn and Suites candle? Did they have one of those in the gift shop?
They didn't have a gift shop. No gift shop. So, long stretch from being at Disney. But, as we said, Grand Floridian is not our usual level of hotel that we would stay at. So, came back to earth just a little bit for Comfort Inn. And it was clean hotel, good location. Think about Gatlinburg. You're not in the hotels very often. Now, I know people who do a cabin vacation. We've not actually done that before. But when they stay in a cabin, they generally are actually hanging out at the cabin more. Whereas when we're doing a hotel, we're not staying at the hotel.
See, I think if we did a cabin, it would be hard because we wouldn't want to be in the cabin. I could stay in the cabin on the porch.
We were literally in the hotel to sleep.
I believe it.
I mean, we were up and gone every morning.
Your family's on the go. I think if we went with the family, I think me and my father-in-law, we would sit on the balcony, smoke cigars, and drink bourbon, and hang out with the dogs.
We didn't get back to the hotel until 10, usually most nights, and we left before 8. So I mean, literally just there to sleep.
Yeah.
Was long days. The first day we went to Anakeesta. So Anakeesta is just like a village, shopping village, tourist village. I don't know. Nobody lives up there. So maybe a village is not the right word, but it's a tourist location on top of one of the mountains. You take a sky lift or chairlift. They call it a chondola, actually, because it has on their chairlift line, it has chairs. And then it also has gondolas. So they call it a chondola. I thought that was cute. And it takes you to the top of the mountain and gorgeous views.
Yeah, the pictures look really good.
Beautiful.
You showed me. So
beautiful views.
I think next time we go down there, we might have to. I'd like to run up there and check it out.
We were just about a week early from the leaves changing colors there. So everything was still very green, but now it was decorated for fall. So as long as you didn't look out at the trees, you felt like it was fall there. There were pumpkin scarecrows, and there were still like leaves on the ground. Leaves are falling right now, so you still have that feeling. But again, if you looked out into like the distance, it was just green.
Yeah.
Which I don't hate. I like summer, but we were there just a little too early for leaf color changes. But the whole place up there was really neat. We had barbecue there with an amazing view. They had a canopy rope walk, which was just a bunch of like swinging bridges that went from tree to tree. That was neat. And then they also had we call them tree people. I don't know.
Well, they look like
I don't know what
trees,
they
yeah.
are. They're tree sculptures. And so I will say, so I think it's Shelbyville here that has a whole a whole display of them, like several of them. It doesn't have any admission to it. And Anakeesta, they did make it look a little bit like there was more of them. I don't know, just the way that it was advertised, it looked like this was a big attraction there. They only have one.
Yeah.
But now he was cute as can be. Like his eyes, I felt like he had a soul because his eyes were so big and like they just looked so sad and loving. Like at the same time that it just was like, I don't know. So if you're only gonna have one, I think they had a good one. It did cost, I think it was $26 for us to go up there. And then, you know, to do any of the extra attractions like the bobsled, you had to pay money for.
Yeah.
And you got to see the tree person. That was just a walk. The canopy was just a walk. So those didn't cost extra. I will say that chairlift was so slow. Like it took 30 minutes to get up there on a chairlift. So it was
This
a very
is part
slow.
of the adventure, Heather.
I know, but that's a long time to
They
be on
want
a
you to
chairlift.
look out and look at all the not falling leaf trees yet.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was neat. I would highly recommend it. If you've not been up there, I would go do that. It had a lot of options up there. Had a play area for kids. Like I said, had food and shopping. And great views, amazing views. The next thing that we did was the next day. We just did some shopping. They do have the outlets, so we went to the outlets for a little bit. We also went to Christmas Place, which is a huge Christmas store in Gatlinburg.
You always have to
Or
go to the
Pigeon
Christmas
Forge.
store.
It's Pigeon Forge.
You always got to do the
Gatlinburg,
Christmas
but-
store. I like the Christmas store. I think it's neat seeing all the stuff in
Yeah,
there. So.
I was a little disappointed this year. It's clear that they're having shipping issues.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as much as they normally do. But you know, that's the same case with anywhere. You can't blame them for that.
Nope.
That's just the way it is right
Nope,
now.
You cannot. Being in
It's-
that line of work, you cannot.
Well,
blame
and
people for that.
it's just part of traveling in a pandemic too, that some things are just not quite where they used to be still. So just, you gotta be patient and keep that in mind when you're traveling, that if it's somewhere you've been before, it may not be exactly the same. But then the next day we went to Dollywood. That was a lot of fun. Oh no, wait.
You went to a show.
No, yeah, I gotta go backwards real quick. I'm sorry. So we did shopping, went to Christmas Place. The other thing is that if you guys haven't seen it, I made a reel on Instagram, and I had this whole idea of where it was going to play the monorail, you know, please stand clear of the doors, and I was going to hop off of the train from Dollywood and look around and realize that I'm not at Disney and switch into like Dollywood attire. So I needed a Dolly Parton shirt. And so we went on an adventure trying to find it. Well, Dolly has a Dreammore resort, which will give you this Disney vibe, because you go in, there's a gift shop, there's a restaurant, like there's this amazing pool back there. You know, it could definitely pass as, I think, a Disney Deluxe. I would call it. It has a spa, like, I mean, it has all those amenities for it. And so it was a really nice area. I felt definitely when I walked in through the lobby, I was like, but anyway, they had a gift shop, so we went there to look for a Dolly shirt. I did find that. I do want to go back and stay at the hotel, just so you know, like, we need to do that. And we can review on that too. So I think that'll be great.
Yeah, I think we need to get a trip to Dollywood and
Yeah.
Gatlinburg, I should say, sometime.
Yeah. It looks like a really nice hotel. I would want to see what the rooms look like. I didn't get to see that, but we did walk around the grounds, and like I said, beautiful. Restaurant looked nice. We were going to eat there, but it was buffet style, and we didn't want a buffet. Then that night we went to see Country Tonight, which you know, I grew up going to Gatlinburg. We also used to go to, our family used to go to Nashville to see the Opry. So going to these places, part of going there is to see some kind of a show. And Country Night is one. It's a country variety show where they have dancing, they have a little bit of comedy in there with a comedian, and then of course a whole lot of singing and fiddle playing, you know, that kind of thing. So it was fun. It was a good time. Again, it's, you know, we've been to Country Tonight several times before, and it's always a great show.
Yeah.
You could tell that they're coming out of pandemic. Like, there were just some things that were still not quite there yet.
Yeah, I don't think I went to one. It's been a long time since I went. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's an enjoyable
It was
show.
good. There was just a few things that some of the music didn't really match the theming that they were going for with the choreography or the costuming. But again, I just think they're working with what they had. So, you know, it's a good show. I still highly recommend it. I would still go. And if you had never seen it before, you would probably think it's amazing. It's just, we've seen it before. So, yeah, it was good. Now that brings us to Dollywood. So we went to Dollywood on Wednesday, and we were doing the Great Pumpkin Looming Nights, which is basically Christmas lights, but Halloween style. And the park is all decorated for Halloween, and there's all these lights for it. So during the day, we walked around, we did the rides. Dollywood has some pretty good rides
they
right
always
now.
have.
No, they haven't always.
Well, they always have since I started going, I should say.
I was going to say, no, they haven't always had great rides. They're mainly for shopping and shows, Dollywood was. There was a few rides, but now they have Wild Eagle, which is a coaster similar to one that is at Cedar Point. What's the one at Cedar Point called?
I don't know.
I forget. But anyway, it's a winged coaster. And then they have one called the Mystery Mine, which is an indoor roller coaster. It kind of reminds me, after I rode it this time, it reminds me a little bit of Gringotts.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. I don't want to say a whole lot.
I can see a little bit.
Like the mechanics on the ride reminds me of Gringotts. So the car is very similar. That first little dip that you go down into was very similar to Gringotts. The only thing is that they didn't have the screen shows.
Yeah.
Like if you rolled into a scene and had a show there with it, it would be Gringotts. But
I think that ride's really cool too, the way it's
so neat.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but if you've not been on it before, you should go ride it. Then we also rode Tennessee Twister, which is just a loop-de-loo roller coaster. I call it a loop-de-loo. I think it's similar to Vortex. That was at Kings Island.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I think there's like Carowinds and Cedar Point. There's a ride similar to it too, but just basically your standard roller coaster.
It's just a basic roller coaster.
1990s roller coaster is what I'll call it.
It is a good coaster.
It's a good coaster. They do have a new, and I don't know the name of it, I forget, but it is a fire department themed roller coaster that is a train. It was neat because you start out, you go, you know, it's like a Big Thunder Mountain where it makes you feel like you're going down big hills and stuff, but you're really not. But you start out going forward, you go around circles, you go through little like corkscrew spins going down, you know, not upside down or anything, and then you come to one spot and you're in a barn that's full of fireworks and the flames come up, and then there's this rocket that points at you, and it's like the rocket has came and got you, and so now you're just going backwards. Like,
oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so it's cool. It changes directions, and it's neat. It was a good ride.
We might have to go down there.
Yeah. We also did the drop line, which is a drop tower ride. I did have to convince Mackenzie to get on there.
I won't do that.
We got on there, and it's not very tall, though.
Okay.
It takes you 230 feet up, but it doesn't drop that far. Like, compared to Drop Zone at Kings Island, it's pretty small.
I don't like those rides.
And then we went to see a couple shows. Saw one, which was I forget the name, Heartland or something like that. Not Heart Song. There was one called the Heart Song, but anyway, this one was Dolly's relatives. So it was actually her cousin and her niece who were singing and just kind of going through some of her songs and talking about the family heritage with it. So I thought that was neat. And then we ended up doing then obviously the Halloween Lumi Nights, which was amazing. Those lights were something else. They have one section that had purple lights that were draped down and just dropped singly, and it looked like it was just like a canopy full of these purple lights, and it was great. Like, if you're not going for anything else, Lumi Nights.
Yeah, the pictures you posted, it looked really neat.
So you talked about poutine earlier. I had sweet potato poutine. It was so good. It was so good. They had that. It was sweet potato fries. It had a white cheddar cheese dip that went on top of it. And then it had like green onions and bacon and, you know, those kind of toppings. It was so good. Like, I thought of you. I was like, oh, I finally got the poutine. Like,
that sounds good.
Anyway, so we had a really good time. We ended the trip by going down to actually downtown Gatlinburg, and we ate at Pancake Pantry, which, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know, though? Walked right in.
Usually you gotta wait.
Stand in line.
Yeah.
Usually you stand in line for like an hour. We walked right in. And so we had breakfast, was done within an hour. We walked around Gatlinburg for a little bit, looked at a few of the shops, got coffee, that was great. And then we headed over to the Craftsman Fair, which is, you know, a craft fair, large scale at the convention center, and it was neat. They had a lot of cool things. There was a guy playing a dulcimer there who he was actually, you know, like he was recording segments. So he would do a piece and record it and lay that down and then record another one. And so he was layering the music actually while he was there recording it. So it was neat to see him not just play, but actually build his tracks that he was doing. I thought that was cool. Also saw a glass blower, and he was telling stories. So like basically like he was building an owl, and he was making an owl, and he was talking about how the owl, you know, does this and like, anyway, it was neat. I didn't really end up buying anything there. I didn't see much that I really wanted. We did get some antlers for a Beasley. And I saw a teepee that they were building. Yeah, so here's Beasley. If you hear her, she's here.
Easy.
Don't knock over the mic. Yep.
All right. Yep. She got a little excited.
Get situated again there.
I'm good. We're good.
Okay. Anyway, there were these life-size teepees that would be great for forts, and I really thought Beasley would like one. I think that if we put a pillow in it, I think she would love it. It would just be right in the middle of the living room. And then after that, we decided to go over and do the SkyBridge. Now, the SkyBridge is really neat. It's another one of these areas that you have to take a sky lift up to, and it's actually called Skylift Gatlinburg Park, and let me make sure I'm saying that right. Gatlinburg SkyBridge Park. Nope. Gatlinburg Skylift Park. And so this is one of the oldest chairlifts at Gatlinburg. Actually, I think it is the oldest. It was brought to Gatlinburg in 1953. It was actually disassembled in California from another ski location and brought to Gatlinburg. A couple years ago there was a fire in Gatlinburg that destroyed a lot. The chairlift was one of those that they had to do some repairs for. So the park that was actually up there had to be repaired. Something that was neat that we saw there is that they had sent the National Guard in after the fire to retrieve their American flag, and it's actually on display there with a plaque about the fire.
Oh, that's cool.
Fire.
Yeah.
If you haven't read about this Gatlinburg forest fire that happened, it was very devastating. It was very scary. Like we kept following it here.
Was that the year that we actually came back from like a cruise and drove through the fires?
Yeah.
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 Because remember there was like I remember that.
No, it was from the beach, but
This
was just a couple
yeah.
years ago. Very sad. Like they've persevered. They've really grown back up.
And Dolly had a lot to do with that too. She helped out so much.
Oh, she did. Yeah.
I mean, not just the Gatlinburg area, but pretty much the whole people there that got.
Yeah.
So.
And I just think it was a good example of how like something bad can happen, but you look at the Skylift Park, and so now they've rebuilt. They've added more attractions. They're adding more attractions as we speak. They're actually working on a few projects. And then, their big attraction right now is, of course, the SkyBridge.
Yeah.
So the SkyBridge is a swinging bridge, cable bridge, that is 700 feet long. And in the center of it, there's a 30-foot section of glass, so you can see through it. Now, the bridge itself is actually 500 feet above Gatlinburg, but it's situated over a valley, so there's ground below you, and it actually is only about 140 feet tall. I guess that probably makes you feel better. I know my mom said, oh, it's not actually that tall. It just looks like it's tall because where they have it at the side of the mountain, but 140 feet, that's still tall.
That's still tall.
That's still high. Like, if you were to fall off of that bridge for any reason, I don't know that it matters. It's 140 feet versus 500 feet. I think you're still in a lot of trouble. So, of course, they have a lot of safety mechanisms with it to make sure that nothing like that would ever happen. Again, I don't know that you want to pay too much attention to how tall it is or not, because the view from there is amazing. And going on that glass part, it's crazy. Yeah. Because you just look through and it just, the whole time you're walking on the wood planks, you feel secure. Now, my cousin and my aunt, they did not like this one bit, but felt secure. And the moment I walk out on the glass, I was like, like kind of took my breath away. I won't even say that kind of took my breath away. It did take my breath away. But anyway, so it was really neat. I suggest doing that.
Yeah, I'd like to go do it.
Yeah, it was fun. We then also did just a little bit more shopping. Ended up at Ogle Brothers General Store. What was so neat about that place was that, what did I send you a picture of?
You sent me a picture of a cookie that looks like a cookie you would get at Gideon's.
Yes, I was looking, and first off, they had these chocolates in their showcase. I was like, oh, okay, I have to try some of these. And then I look over and I see these ginormous cookies that are covered in chocolate chips, and I was like, this is a Gideon's cookie. Like, this is Gideon's. And so we did pick one up, and it was great. Like, it was so good.
You brought some of it home, and it was really good.
Yeah, because it was so big, we could not finish it. So we ended up having to bring it home. So he had a 2-day-old.
It was still good.
Gideon style cookie. But that was at Ogle
We need to
Brothers.
break into that truffle, too, you have over there.
Yeah, we do. We need to do that. So we did that. We ended up then also going to one more store called Santa's Closet. It was really cute. CLAUS-ET. So Santa Closet.
Oh.
Get it?
Yeah.
It was a cute store. I still think I probably like Christmas Place better, but They had a lot of the same things. I did get a gnome for the shelf, and they both had it. Both of them had the same thing. So yeah. So they had a lot of the same pieces. I will say we did get some pickles and some
pickles were good.
Hot chocolate mix or hot cocoa mix, and those were really good. So that was the only thing I ended up getting from there.
Those pickles were good, and I'll probably try the hot cocoa mix whenever it gets a little cooler.
And then before we left, we ended by going to the Apple Barn, and that's always a stop on the way out.
I have a caramel apple over there that I'm ready to break into.
Yeah.
So.
Apple Barn's good. It has a restaurant and a grill. It has both. And then they have shopping with a winery. They have a brewery now.
Yeah.
With hard cider. And they also have a Christmas store there too. So yeah, and a general store. So
it sounds like you had a good time.
We did. We had a good time. You know, it was hot. It was close to 80s almost the entire trip. It did rain some, so weather was not as great as what we would have liked it to be. But we had a really good time.
So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about enough for today, though.
Yeah, I think so.
We went over a lot, so.
Yeah, this ended up being a really long day, so. All right, guys. Well, we thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And
hopefully, like I said, we started the video thing. Hopefully it turned out okay, and we can put this up too. Like I said, it's the first one. Sometimes I forgot we were actually recording on a video, and I never looked up. I kept looking down at her. So, but yeah, hopefully everything turns out okay, and I guess we'll talk to you guys next week.
bye, guys.
Bye.